far as so basically what I'm looking at is within the next month to have this facilities workroom wrapped up, have most of this punch list items wrapped up. There'll be some things that'll extend beyond that. I know we have signage that won't be in the next month. A little bit of fencing potentially will be beyond that month. In the spring, these areas that we're having. So that's pretty much the update on schedule. What we did, what we're working on, and what's happening in the next month or so.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? All right, moving along. We have some change events and change orders from PDS. Nancy, do you have those or?
Have them. The first one is change event number 15 for the sidewalk and dumpster pad changes. It's for $1,652.
Right.
And it was recommended by both the architect and the OPM.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
3,000 miles. It's more than that, probably. It's pretty good. Do I have a second?
Second.
Daisy, you're still muted. Moved and seconded. Any questions? Any discussion?
No.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything. Nancy, I've got you muted. For some reason.
Are we all set on 15?
I thought I heard Abe.
Okay, the next one is number 78.
Is he back on? I believe so. Hear nothing. All those. Oh, we didn't vote yet. All those in favor of number 15?
Aye.
Are there any ayes? There's Jeff. Opposed? Chair votes aye. All right, on to 17.
Okay, the next one is 78.
Jeff just voted.
The next one is 78.2. It is for some reinforced columns, some steel columns. This is for $16,363.82. And it has been reviewed and recommended by both the architect and the owner.
Okay, motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Move second. How'd you beat Bobby? Okay, any questions? Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
In favor, I see your hand, Abe. Opposed? Chair votes aye. Next.
Next is number 86. It's to refeed the power to some exit signs in the vehicle storage area, and it's for $656. Recommended for approval by both the owner's rep and the architect.
Okay, I'm trying to see the 66 total. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion. Second.
Second.
Very good. Moved and seconded. Any questions? Comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Chair votes aye. And I assume there are no opposals. I didn't hear any. What else we got, Nancy?
Got number 90, which is for the wire lift in the new maintenance garage, $974. This also has been recommended for approval by the architect and the owner's rep.
I don't have it on my screen. Did you do that? There it is. Okay. 974. Motion to approve?
So moved.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Comments? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Get everybody?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye.
Next is number 93, which is for some welding, some frames to steel jams. This one is for $24, and it's been reviewed by both the architect and the owner's rep and recommended for approval.
The motion to approve?
So moved.
So move.
Second.
Second. Any comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
All in favor, he said?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
those in favor of this change of venue?
Oh, God.
Am I fading again, Nancy?
Yeah, you're fading.
Opposed?
We got you
Chair
now.
votes aye. Motion carries. What's next?
The next one is 96.
I'm back.
Threw out a few other ones that we've
Can
decided.
I be-
So the next one is sequentially that you probably had is 95. We're waiting on that. So we're going to go to 96, which is
Okay.
mechanic hardware, the electrical room door that was requested by the electrical inspector. And this is for $2,405.60. It's been reviewed by the architect and been recommended for approval.
Okay, motion to approve.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Comments? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye.
The next one is number 98. It's for the demo of a door. And this one is for, well, there's more than just a additional work related to the door. Anyways, this is for $7,985.57. It's also been reviewed by the architect and the owner's rep and recommended for approval.
Okay, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. We hear a second.
Second.
Thank you. Questions?
I have a question. This was for a repair of a door?
I think I'm with you, Abe.
It was an existing door that was called to get new hardware in the existing vehicle storage garage area. By the time we got to the door to do the hardware, the door itself was in such bad condition that the existing door, we couldn't open it, couldn't close it. It needed to automatically close with the door closer. It had been kind of reinstalled at some point in time and done poorly. So there was no way, unfortunately, to salvage that door. There was also a non-standard size door, and we had to put in a standard size door. So we had to increase the opening, put a new door in, do some reinforcement work in the opening, and that's the reason for the change order.
If it was in such bad shape, how was it not picked up originally?
Well, you know, the original assessment was done about probably 3 years ago. It may not have been in good shape then, but it was, by the time we got to construction, it was in very bad shape. So
We left on Friday. It was pouring rain. It was across the street from the town hall, 9 to 4. It was down the street.
This door was between two rooms, correct?
correct. Yeah, it was the sign storage. No, sorry, small engine repair and the vehicle storage garage. So in the existing portion of the building.
How large was the door?
It was 6'8" by 3-foot door.
Yeah.
It was in a masonry wall, so the masonry work had to be reworked as well.
Well, yeah, there's a $2,500 masonry charge here. And the door itself was $3,200. Was that the fabrication?
They had to make another door.
There's a few parts that go into these openings. It's quite a bit of work because it requires the mason removing the open frame, making the opening, enlarging the opening. There's some steel angles to support the masonry opening, which have to be installed, drilled, anchored through the 12-inch wall. And then the steel contractor has to come in and then weld steel plates around the two sides of the opening to give the opening some closure. And then the door contractor has to install the door frame and hardware, but he now has to put a new frame in there, weld the frame into the steel opening, and then install the door and hardware. So it's quite a process for one of these openings in the existing building to install the existing building.
That is one hefty door. The door probably still will stand when the building comes down. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 The chair reluctantly votes aye. Next.
That's all we have for change events.
All right, moving on to Weston and Sampson. Who do we pick here? We have two representatives.
You can go in alphabetical order. I'll speak, Barry, because I'm the most familiar with the project. We're continuing to review closeout documents. Have one more visit to the site to do a back punch on the punch list, just to check the punch list for completion. And we're still, obviously attending meetings and supporting the project by answering RFIs as they come in. So we're getting near the end.
We keep saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions?
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Kamal?
You said we're near the end?
We're much closer to the end than we are to the beginning.
I
hope so.
What's the timetable on that?
So what does that
I'll have to
mean?
defer to PDS. Sorry.
So what does that mean? A nail or a screw?
I don't know if I should answer that.
Yeah. It's a tough question, Jeff. I don't know.
Well, closeout usually drags on a little bit beyond the final
Right.
completion of the project. So I anticipate a few more months, at least for
And we
closeout.
get
I can't speak for the construction completion, but I assume that's getting very close.
we get a year to come after you anyway, don't we?
Yes.
Mr. Alberti, anything else?
No, I think, as John said, we are continuing to respond to whatever's requested of us, and we'll continue to stick it through to the end and try to move this along as best we can. So John's obviously handling the day-to-day, and I provide support to John when needed, and we'll keep doing that as long as we need to.
Okay. Any questions for either of these gentlemen?
The only thing is that as we're getting close to the closure, at some point, I do believe that the committee needs to be able to go into the building to visualize what has happened and what is going on.
Sure.
We can do that through social distancing and do sanitizing. So I think we need to look at that because we're going now on voice. We're going now on what people are saying. So I think it's time now for us to kind of take a visual look at what this project is looking about. I look from the outside. However, I have not been inside. I want to be able to see it on the inside.
You know, you're right. I only looked at the outside over the past couple of months. This is true. Nancy, maybe we can set something up and try and beat the weather.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
Okay, Nancy, thank you so much.
Okay, we have a meeting scheduled for 2000.
We're going to let STV give their update first.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you're right. I skipped right over them.
That was intentional, Barry, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure.
So we continue to have meetings. We're having them not necessarily weekly. We're trying to do them, you know, as needed every other week, but keeping in touch with PDS and Weston and Sampson and DPW as we go. I think that the biggest things we are running into now, you know, the construction's kind of moving along where it is, with a couple of unknowns, which could potentially be big ticket items, and we're trying to navigate. I think Scott Brace had mentioned it a little bit ago, was the underground storage tanks and the contaminated soils that we've ran into. So we're working with the DEP to see what is required and you know what we have to do to close out. And you know, as the weather is getting closer, Dan needs to access to the salt shed. So we're trying to expedite things to see if we, number one, do we close out the project and try to address this in the spring, or do we need to go with it under this project, knowing that we don't have funds left. With everything that we've kind of approved today, I think we probably have somewhere in the neighborhood, Nancy, with leaving those other two out, somewhere around the neighborhood of $20,000 left in contingencies, correct? Yes. So we do have a $10,000 allowance for contaminated soils, but if we chase that, that could be a drop in the bucket. So it's just something we're trying to navigate around here. And you know, that's really our biggest challenge at this point. Other than that, we're just working with PDS and Western Sampson and the DPW trying to I couldn't take that out.
Yeah, I'm not getting you, Gary.
Okay. I see your partner in crime seems a little left the scene. I lost him. All right. Any questions, Scott?
No, I just have one
I
question.
guess it all revolves around at what point we have to go back to council and get some money. Yeah, go ahead, Dan. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Rick was saying. You know, my major concern was that we got into these tanks and they became a bigger problem than what we realized. You know, my drop deadline was December 1st to get the work done associated with the tanks. because they're directly in front of the salt shed. And if I can't resupply that salt shed, my problems are much bigger operationally. So I think it's imperative that within the coming 10 days that we need to make a decision. We're going to tackle these tanks at the end of this season, or if we're going to defer it until next spring. Because the operational impacts could be dramatic.
If you go in to do that work and we get hit with a big storm, are you still going to have access to the salt, or is that going to be a problem?
I can access the shed right now to get the material that I have in there. But I restocked that shed 2 or 3 times, 4 times over the course of the winter. And if you start having to chase soils and that hole gets bigger and bigger, my concern is I'm going to lose access to that salt shed.
Hey, Nancy, I don't know if the rest of you guys can hear
Well,
me.
that's what I yeah. Maybe I don't need to just oh, you did come back. Nancy, I don't know if the rest of you guys. I heard you.
So Barry, it sounds like you're back now.
I didn't know I was gone.
You disappeared on us for a minute there.
Okay.
I want to reiterate and sort of summarize what Rick and Dan both just said there. First of all, we get a big hole right in front of the salt shed, and it's kind of a problem.
Right.
Second of all, it's not closed up because we've got some soils in there that we're going to have to look at. So it is something we're spending a fair amount of time on to make sure that we handle this correctly and it doesn't cause trouble for the town. But we've got to get it closed up for Dan, because Dan cannot do the winter the way things are right now. So we're really working to try to get DEP and the entire group to come to something that, at least if nothing else, get Dan back into a shed.
All right. Well, I guess that's the tack we're going to have to take. You know, ASAP.
I agree.
I know everybody's working on it right now.
There's no way we can bridge that hole.
I think we got to make a decision either to move forward and get this thing done this season, or we're very close to having to make a decision to
let it go till the spring
and close that hole up so I can get access over it.
Right.
So Barry, I'm sorry to jump in again. Just
go ahead.
We don't know what we're going to find quite yet. We need to do a little bit more work. And my fear is right there with Dan's right now, that when we're trying to define the scope of this project, this work, we want to be very careful. We don't want to just start digging and chasing contaminated soils. So we want to try to define the scope of it. It's going to take a little bit to define that. And the problem is winter is going to hit us before we're going to get a chance, in my mind, to have it fully defined and then give John and Jeff a chance to really say what we're really going to do with it.
No, goodness.
So if
we got to
get this thing covered up for Dan, that is my #1 priority. And DEP and other people have different priorities. I'm just afraid we're going to run out of time for Dan. He's got to plow. He's got to get his ass in there. We've got to open that up for him.
Right. Well, I guess at some point, some snowstorm is going to come along and make us make that decision. That's what I'm afraid of, that we're going to be doing it in haste. And then come the spring, we're going to have to start all over again.
Like you talked about Dan's deadline actually formal deadline. Our deadline has been December 1st. And we can cover the area back up with some process. We don't have to pave it, and then we could wait until spring. Which would allow us. I hear people saying that we're going to have to go back to the council for more money. There's no way the town council I don't think that we're going to escape having to wait and push this off until spring, operationally as well as monetarily. That's my guess, but you know, we're looking at less than 2 weeks, you know, 10 days that we've got to meet Dan's deadline, and that's an awful lot of work and approval by DEP, because we are also in contact with DEP.
Right.
We can temporarily not remove the tanks and any of the associated contamination until we get a better understanding of what the process is, or what the situation is.
All right, so we can hang around, I guess, for a couple of weeks and see where we are, and may require a special meeting somewhere.
Barry, let us, you know, let's talk to the contractors and to all that's involved. Let us move forward on what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Let us trust God that God will hold back the weather and things will work out all right. We don't want to go doom and gloom from the beginning. Let us continue to work, and let us keep
I agree with that.
where we're going, so that we can make sure that things get done decent and in order. And I do believe that things will happen, and we won't have run into no difficulty. And I want everybody to have the positive opinion that this thing is gonna work out. We don't want to go doom and gloom.
No, absolutely not. And it's going to be bad enough if we don't get it done and then have to go back to the council and say we need money, plus we didn't get this done. Right. So let's push ahead and see if we can get this finished.
It will be finished.
I like your attitude, Jeff. I'm with you. Okay, anything else on that STV report? Yes, now we can move on to the 2021 meeting schedule. How many do you predict we're going to have?
Well,
you can't have us until December.
I don't know.
Another year.
But we have to file it with the town clerk, and I'd much rather put a full year's worth. And then if we have to cancel them, we cancel them.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you. Okay. I'd rather say we don't need the meetings and come back and say we need them. And we may even be back in the building by then. Who knows? All right, any questions, any comments? Yeah, I chip on this. I don't think we have to vote on that. That's our regular meeting days. And we have some invoices.
So we have to approve this. You actually have to take.
Nancy?
We need to take a vote on the calendar, Barry.
Have to have a vote? All right. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Yes. Motion to approve the calendar. Moved and seconded. I assume there are no comments. All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Chair votes yes. Schedule is approved. Motion to approve the invoice.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Chair votes aye. What do you got next?
That's all I got.
That's all we got?
That's all I have.
Then we can adjourn. That was quick.
So move.
Second.
3 shots to get in 45-minute meeting. Okay. All those in favor can shut down. Abe, you
All
look
right.
beautiful. I got to read.
Thanks,
Thank
Terry.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.